Peter. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And how are you?
I'm good, doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining and then letting us being part of your story and the chat. Today, I can't say evening because now at your end, it's like afternoon, right?
Yeah, it's about noon here. It's like the hot time in Arizona.
Yeah, okay. So we already know something about you. You're from Arizona. So let's dive in. Let's go back to history, where you grew up, and how you first got in touch with spirituality or exploring, and let us know more about that.
Okay. Yeah, so basically I grew up in Long Island, New York, about 40 minutes outside Manhattan, outside New York City. And I moved here about 3 years ago. December 2019, I moved to Sedona, Arizona, which was like a huge life change. Just different lifestyle, but I was never really so much a city person. I think growing up, I was always kind of I loved examining things. I was super curious about everything. And I think I just wanted to question everything. And I sort of understood everything around me, but I was like, well, why? What's the point? What's the point? Why are we doing everything? I was super analytical, which had its challenges in terms of mental health. So I sort of have struggled with depression and anxiety my whole life. So I was trying to figure out that puzzle. And that's sort of what led me through search for everything that I've done and what's led me here. So yeah, I'm always kind of examining. I would say like my biggest passion is examining human behavior and learning about it, like kind of being the silent observer.
Yeah. How was your childhood? When did it all start? The examination part and so where did you consciously first kind of felt, okay, there's something I need to explore more?
Yeah. I think around, maybe 10, 12 years old, I always struggled to sort of fit in. I never really found my niche. Energetically, I just had a hard time fitting in the world, I think, because I was just super sensitive, kind of more on the feminine side for a man.
Mm-hmm.
I was just very introspective and questioning. And I sort of struggled, and I sort of didn't fit that culture, that reality, that family. So I was kind of always searching for something else. Like, I don't get this. Like, I could do everything right. I could be great at sports. I could get good grades, get a great job, but still, like, nothing matters. Nothing's fulfilling. Like, I'm not connected in my heart to my life and the people around me. And I think when it actually began was maybe when I was 25, 26. I went on this hike in Spain, the Camino de Santiago. It's like a pilgrimage across Spain. So you walk about 500 miles, 800 kilometers. And that kind of opened me up to some things. Yeah, that's kind of when it began. So maybe 5-6 years ago is when it all began.
Where it all began. So in Spain, so your journey began in Spain, right?
In Spain, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. So what happened there, and what have been your greatest struggles?
Just in life?
Mm-hmm.
I think just two main things like that have kind of inspired me to do. I've been doing the podcasting and videos and all these things online and trying to launch this platform.
Yeah.
It's basically, I always struggled with loneliness, just fitting in the world. Even when there's people around you, just feel alone. You don't feel loved. You can't connect. And then another thing is just like communicating what you need, what you feel, artistically expressing yourself. Could be singing, could be dancing, could be poetry, could be writing. Those are two things that I struggled with immensely my whole life. So they became the focus of my life. So how do I help others become less lonely, and how do I help others communicate?
Wow. Yeah.
So those are sort of the foundation of why I do what I do, I would say.
So you've done a lot of self-healing. Before we go to today, I would like to go back once again to Spain, because now, okay, you're helping others And so, but I assume that in Spain you haven't had your calling yet. So what happened in Spain and afterwards? What was your journey there?
I think, well, it all kind of led in 2015. I got sober from drugs and alcohol, so I kind of cleared that out. Then 2016, I did the Caminos de Santiago, like very spiritual land. I connected with the land. It was very powerful. You know, you just walk with a backpack with a couple changes of clothes, and you kind of sleep in these hostels every night. Something about that just clicked.
Yeah, you're so
Take
right.
yourself out of it. Can I ask, have you, over the years of doing your coaching, have you had many good and fulfilling experiences in this way? Like,
Oh yes,
yeah.
Beautiful. Good question. By the way, you are the first one asking me this. That's interesting. Yeah. Yes, beautiful experiences. Also,
Yeah.
for me, always learnings again. You know, like taking yourself back is such an important thing to do. You know, you have to be here for your client 100%. And that means also taking yourself up, exactly what you said. That's actually one of the most tough parts in learning as a coach. Take yourself out there, and the wisdom is inside. I always say, like, the whole wisdom is inside my client.
Yeah, like self-healing.
Yes, absolutely.
And can I ask you just that same question you asked me? What would you say is the number one thing that people should look for in a coach? Or
Absolutely. The third, I absolutely share the first part with you, where you have to have a good feeling, really a good feeling with the person. Yeah, you have to feel like I'm at peace. I feel good here, and I feel like that I'm protected. That it is a very safe space. I absolutely agree. And I always like the second thing, ask for, do you have coaching yourself? Because if a coach or a therapist says, no, I don't have that, because that's the crucial part in it. You need always a coach or therapist yourself regularly, you know, because if that is your field, then you need it yourself to grow, to constantly grow and have learnings on your own, and also to be able to speak about challenges on your own as well. Because if I can't be an amazing coach if I don't believe in coaching myself and have it myself, right? So that would be my second question.
And I think, like something that really makes me passionate about life, and you know, when I do these podcasts, these videos, and I'm going to be doing more interviews and things, it's just a place to go deep, like a place where maybe people don't really have in their life. Like, can we set a space where we just feel comfortable talking about topics that maybe you might not feel comfortable in your regular life?
Oh yes.
I think in my own healing, I think it just comes down to like a fear of self. Like a lot of people have that, just a fear of sitting with themselves. Like they're so distracted all day long, and they don't want to sit with themselves. They don't want to look inside. But I think the coaching can facilitate that process, like unconditional positive regard, or just that loving presence. And it's hard, you know, it's hard to look inside yourself and say, oh, why don't I love myself? Or why don't I go for the things I truly want? Or why am I so afraid of rejection? Or, you know, romantic relationships, or whatever it is. It's, some people never want to do that.
Well, now, like the last 5 years have been on a journey. How has this journey looked like? So, what were your steps, and you know, what were that were my main steps, or like what happened after that?
Yeah. So after the ayahuasca trip, I kind of just it was very much like an internal, you know, when people talk about spiritual awakening, it's like an internal sadness and depression, really. Like it's like something is awakening in you that's true in your heart, but then there's this deep sadness and depression, like I don't fit this world, I don't get anything about it. And it's like you have to put all the puzzle pieces together. So you're just like going back to the drawing board. You're like, what matters? You know, I constructed this kind of fake self my whole life. And now I have to like reconstruct the real self because I see more of what's here. So then I dedicated sort of 2 years to working with plant medicine. So 2017 to 2019, I went back to Peru in 2019 and did it again. Also, psilocybin mushrooms were a huge piece of the puzzle, like in the healing.
What happens there, Peter? Because you got such a lot of knowledge where I can ask you, like,
yeah.
What is the experience there, and what does one use it for?
It's all about the introspection. It's like looking inside your internal world. It's a great tool. It's a tool and it's medicine. That's the way I look at it. It kind of reorients your whole world. So it can be shocking. It can be life-changing. It can be. And it sounds weird to say, but in some ways, I feel like my life didn't even really begin until I had those experiences, because I learned about a connection to a higher power, just love. And I would say it gives you a tool to look at yourself in a higher frame, like as an outsider, so you don't beat yourself up so much. And yeah, it kind of shows you the summit of Everest. Like, it shows you about mental health. It shows you where you can be, but you also have to do the work to do it once you get out of those experiences. So it's not a magic pill by any means.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's not the type of thing where you need, I haven't even done those medicines in a few years. You don't even need to do it all the time. You don't need to do it ever again, but depending on the case. But
yeah.
Those were huge tickets to learn about how can I get out of this crippling depression, anxiety that I've had my whole life. Just a certain sadness, a certain melancholy that plagued me. So that's a little bit about it.
So, Peter, there's so many people out there suffering from depression and that anxiety. That's really a huge topic. So how do you cope now? What are your strategies, or like your daily task, or is there a kind of structure, or what do you do? What is your expertise on that for yourself?
Yes. So fitness, working out is huge.
Yeah.
Grounding, so doing something with the earth, like I'll walk barefoot on the grass. I'll put my bare chest on the grass. I have like sort of a ritual of grounding, sort of sending my energy into the earth to just give it to the earth, because I think of the earth like a living thing. And then I love to jump in water, either in the creek or in the ocean. Energy cleanse. Writing, journaling.
Yeah.
There's a book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, which I really love. She does this thing called morning pages, and it's you sort of wake up. The first thing you do when you wake up is just write everything. It doesn't necessarily need to make sense. Yeah. It's almost like a brain release. Just get rid of all of it. Just keep writing and writing. Meditation is a big one.
Yeah.
And me. Because I think when we think about mental illness, it's not as much about the mind as we think. It's about just getting out of the mind, moving energy. I think of it as energy. So there's a certain amount of energy in your body every day. You got to move it. You got to move it. You got to release it. You got to transform it. Because if you stay stuck and you stay stagnant, you'll go crazy, because we weren't meant to be sedentary.
When I listen to you, it sounds like you're kind of, for me, like rebalancing, because in the past, everything in the head and then kind of a rebalancing of energy. out of your head to have that mind, body, and soul, because you were always in the mind, and now soul and body is like three parts. And now it's like the mind, okay, is kind of getting a release because energy is going into the body and soul. And that was my vision I had when you were like kind of talking. It's like, oh, it's like, it feels like,
Yeah, because when that realization hit me, it was almost like, oh, I feel so dumb. I feel like a little bit foolish because I was trying to figure out things in my mind my whole life. Reading self-help books and psychology and all these things. But the conclusion I've come to is it's not about the mind, it's about the heart, it's about the body, it's about energy, it's about this process of evolution, changing our body and our soul. We want to evolve as human beings. Yeah. We don't want to stay the same. We want to transform every day.
Yeah.
More love. We want more love. We want more connection. So it's a heart problem to me. Like the societal problem is just, we're so in the mind, but the mind, it's a never-ending trap. You got to go to the heart, so.
Amazing. So yeah. I like your kind of structure, your everyday to-dos, with also journaling. By the way, guys, I produced a journaling book. Get it on Amazon. Small advertisement in between. So yeah, I love journaling. I'm so with you. So I love it so much that I produced my own one, because I felt like I don't want to buy another one. I want to buy my own one.
And do you have some strategies that you use day to day in terms like for your own mental health and things?
Well, absolutely, and it's pretty similar to yours actually. And it's really profound. Your daily tasks are very profound. I also got like daily movement, so that my body is moved, and it supports me, and I'm healthy, and and then everything can transform as well. So daily body work. The second one is journaling every day. Journaling, because like in the journal book is, what are you thankful for? What did you realize today? What was different? Where can you improve on? Where do you want to improve, and what are your goals? So that is something I also do on a daily basis. Basics and meditation. It's like breathing. I only do like meditation with a breathing tactic. So I'm a lot in nature and also breathing tactics, and that actually so similar to yours actually. And it's amazing. I love it. Oh, and affirmation.
Yeah, I love those too. I like to write them, speak them out loud too. The meditation, it's kind of like I need that alone time every day to get back to center, because you have a certain amount of things that happen every day that you can just send you into a tailspin, and you get back to your center, breath, just sort of stabilize.
So Peter, what are you at now? What are your biggest to-dos at the moment, or what is your, because you said like on your profile it's explorer. It's explorer and so on. So what is your why?
My what?
Your why, your purpose.
Why?
I always say like your why, but it's your purpose.
I think it's to help others with their voice, like I said, communication, relationships, and to help others feel safe to come out of hiding in a way, to share their gifts, and holding the space of love. So I'm going through a shift right now, and it's funny that you contacted me right as I'm kind of going through this shift where I'm right on the edge of like pushing myself. I'm going to start offering these services and coaching and things because of that intense dark night of the soul period, inner work, all that. I kind of had to be so isolated from the world for so long to do the self-healing, to now be sort of more in a position to help others.
Yeah.
Which you don't always learn. You know, as a kid, we kind of get brainwashed with all these ideas of money and fame and success. But I think the more I've lived, the more I've learned, well, the only thing that's really going to bring me good feelings in my heart is, all right, how am I going to make all this crap that I've been through, all this misery and struggles, how am I going to make it useful for another?
Right.
So that's what I'm really focusing on now. Like, how am I going to package this? What services am I offering? You know, I'm writing things, potentially like a course or a book. Also with the video courses, I'm just sort of, and I'm working on many things in progress. So that's a challenge, you know, how do we help others, you know, because, yeah.
That's beautiful, Peter. How do we help others? Yeah. Now you're working at a lot at the moment. So what is have you got a long-term vision?
I think I do. I try to take it, I have short-term goals and long-term goals, but basically I love doing the podcast. I love doing interviewing people. So I'm trying to build that to sort of give people a platform to go deep, to learn about all different types, kind of like what you do. I mean, I was looking at things on your page of you interview all these people. I know you have a focus in music and DJing, but you try to take people from sort of all walks of life and say, okay, what makes you tick? What are you passionate about? And how are you helping the world? So I love doing the podcast. I love doing the videos. But my long-term vision is just to be helping people in writing, because writing is something I'm really passionate about. I've always written. But then in one-on-one sessions, coaching and things like that. But that's the main focus, all right? How do I help others? How do I make it useful for them? Anything, you know, healing related, you know, how can I just give back everything I have learned? So it's in progress. It's in process now.
Your biggest strength in one word?
Presence. Yeah.
That's a good one. Presence, yeah. Then in three words, I like the names. In 3 words, the change or the improvement you aim for your clients, customers.
3 words, okay.
You know, I love them games. Word games.
Pattern recognition, self-love, and self-actualization. Like, as in the third one is kind of like, what am I doing in the physical world?
Yeah.
Like tangible changes that I can quantify.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter, I mean, I love what you do and how you, like, your honesty about your history and where it took, you know, and it needs a lot of strength and a lot of work to be open about it, you know, and also the struggles in life and so on. But the beautiful part is when people then grow out of it and create something beautiful from it. And that's something which makes me really happy when I see like people like doing such a lot and you know, use the experience to make better in the world. You know, that's kind of something I really, really highly love.
Yeah, because it's like it's something I love, but it's something that I really struggle with too. Because, you know, the things I share, I go to these deep places. I try to be very vulnerable. That's just sort of naturally who I always was. Yeah. It's just very emotional, very introspective. And that's one of the main drivers is like those places of pain. I don't want people to feel that pain. That's why I share what I share. You know, I want them to be helped. So yeah, it's beautiful when people have the courage to be vulnerable. So that's what I'm trying to help people do, or try to inspire people in that way.
Amazing. Oh, Peter, thank you so much for sharing and everything. So,
Yeah.
I got the last one. If you're open to it, I love them cards. These are beautiful picture cards. And if you're open to it, I'm going to shuffle the cards. You're going to say stop at one point, and then there's a picture coming out, which I may ask you then to elaborate on. So
Okay.
I'm going to shuffle, and you can say stop whenever you feel like stop.
Stop.
Oh my God. Okay, that's interesting. I never like. Okay, so okay.
That's Che Guevara. Is that who that is? So what does it mean to me?
Yeah, just you can talk about just what it says to you. It doesn't even have to, or the colors or whatever, or him, or just a picture.
I mean, yeah, regardless of his political views and movement and all that aside, I think just sort of going against the grain, like anarchy, leadership. In his case, whether you think it was good or bad, you know, people would have different views, but just like a boldness, action. Yeah.
Boldness, action. Yeah, I like that. Actually, I didn't even know that he's in the cards. So thank you on elaborating. So boldness, action, right? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, and that made me think, another thing like I would, with people, with the coaching, I would say is, how do you get people to just jump in and try, like whether it's to be emotionally vulnerable, do their art, do their dance, do their singing.
Yeah.
It's like you sort of have to play the fool. I think you have to play the fool, you have to play the villain, you have to play all these parts, because I look at this dance of being alive as kind of like that. It's like a theater play, like a production in a way.
Yeah.
So if you play all the parts, it's, I don't know, you're just in the game. You're not taking yourself so seriously. That helped me a lot.
Yeah.
You're just, and people judge you, people look at you, people might put you in a box, but you're kind of, you learn not to take it so seriously, I guess. Yeah, because I think everyone has their unique spark.
Yeah.
Their spark of God or their spark of greatness.
Yeah.
But a lot of people can't see it, you know, or they're just too, they can't see their own power.
Yeah.
So you're kind of helping them.
Yeah. I love that. Like so that's something we do, and helping others is, that should be, I love that cause, and also that should be the intention of everyone. I would love to hear that from everyone, you know, that the cause in doing what they do, and it can be everywhere, you know. I'm making people happy because I cook great meals. I'm making people happy because I'm taking care of cleaning things and so on, you know, like I'm making other people happy in supporting. And that's something, when I hear that, my heart, you know, blossoms, and I feel like, okay, that's amazing, you know, and that's...
Yeah. Just even connection to relationships. It's like with this more divided world and the fear in the world right now, it's like, it's just crucial.
Yeah.
It's crucial for people with all the lockdowns that happened the last few years. It's like, it's so simple. It's like, how do I connect hearts with another? And then romantic relationships and love that's a different, that's its own thing. But it's a struggle in today's world. So you need these healers, these coaches, who use this empathy muscle. We're using this empathy muscle.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of learning what matters, what doesn't right now.
Yeah.
So it's like a global shift going on.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's a global shift. And it's about time to have this global shift. Right.
Those people really need to step up, and that's kind of what I've been feeling in my life, is just these maybe more sensitive souls or quiet souls, or a lot of people are going to be being called to step up into this new role.
Yeah.
Because the planet is going through their own dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
With everything, the chaos, the craziness in the world right now.
That's true.
So.
Beautifully said, Peter. Beautifully said. So, Peter, it was a beautiful. Yeah. We're nearly to an hour. I mean, time is like it's unbelievable how time is flying. It was a beautiful chat with you, Peter. I really appreciate beings like you, that's hard people with the spirit and what you stand for, and where you are going to help many people with your experience and your knowledge, and please keep in touch with me and keep me posted if you got your first program or whatever, when you're then like starting off with the program, and then we can have another chat and so on, just to also make people aware, hey, there's a program for a support program. So. Yeah,
thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thanks for all your work, and I've been watching and observing your stuff, and it's great to learn just ideas, inspiration. So thank you for having this open platform to get people's message out and all that. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Peter. So, okay, so have a wonderful. I want to keep them recording. I'm always
like, I think you exit out and then
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye, Peter. Bye-bye.